Shirley here with Sirius Talisman, and this is Jupiter Hour Moon Day, my lunar return, and I want to address why I didn't do a Jupiter Talisman. I did a kind of half Jupiter Talisman, which is a joining of, and this is some ideas for Jupiter Talisman. So first of all, clove oil, and secondly, um, I did cocoa. So cocoa, clove, and how do you call that herb in English? Um, Nutmeg. Some vetiver, and this is going to be, um, yes, this is going to be really cool. For Jupiter's Jupiter hour, I did not do strong invocation of Jupiter because Jupiter is squaring Sun, and but more so squaring Chiron and Aries, and opposing Pluto, and I'm working with the outer planets. Yeah, also in talismans. But I did a small Jupiter oil, which is countering what I just said. As I'm preparing, I made a moon oil for the return of the kidnapped people. So this is a great timeline. The moon in the ninth house is trining Mars, although Mars is in the first. This is Jupiter hour moon day, and it goes like this. As I am doing, what happened? Aren't you supposed to be the one that closed this? Something happened. You're supposed to be the. Oh, it's that one. I mixed the vetiver with the Jupiter talisman. Let's see what it means. Oh, okay. Anyway, I woke up this morning, did listened to some Reiki, and I saw the chart, and I said that this is very important chart. This is, of course, a chart for talisman. So you see the moon, and first I thought moon Jupiter. As I'm making the talisman, and I had to be cautious with that Jupiter because me and my colleagues have learned that I'm sensitive to my elections more so than other people. So I made the Luna Returned Kidnapped and Missing People oil. For that timeline, it had some geranium, lavender, being loved as who we are, nourishment, vetiver, because vetiver is just vetiver. You have to add vetiver. Not, and one drop of clove. So I did a tiny amount of Jupiter and just Jupiter hour. As I'm creating that oil, and the body butter with rose, which basically means I took some rose essential oil, dropped a couple of drops into a shea butter, and began to mix it with the fork that I have. That was my rogue creation of talismans. But as I'm creating the oil, my mom Moon, from the other room, tells me there are 7 people already that returned from Gaza, the kidnapped or tortured people. They went to satanic abuse for 2 years, um, very likely were trafficked and so on. And those people, 7 people, already returned. And this happens as I'm making my oil. So of course I let that energy be, and it entered into the oil. So it was the moon. So it was the day and hour of the return of the kidnapped people. By the way, absolutely willing to donate a couple of drops each for people that need to deal with such timelines. Um, I don't have a lot of like ability to ship things or anything. It's not a commercial anything. Um, but this, if people will find that it helps them, it's just essential oil, and when you dilute it, that can be very, very tender frequency. Um, if it helps people. And if not, then let's always discard of it, or give it to the next person. And so that was basically the timeline. So on the moon, on the day and hour, the moon is trining Mars. Here Mars is in the first house. I did not invoke Mars, I invoked only the moon, and allowed it to be Jupiter hour, and one drop of clove and maybe nutmeg that is more associated with that Jupiter. Now, yes, of course, this this is an unnamed version. Let me just close that oil before the ascendant gets 22 in. Uh, do I manage to? Wait. Then I have to do it like that. And this is my more Jupiterian materia is with nutmeg, clove, and vetiver and cocoa. So this is my Jupiter materia, and this is also kind of like a countering trafficking type of thing. And by the way, you know that I deal with being targeted individual, and this is anti-trafficking agendas, Zeus, Moon, Cancer, and I'm gonna call on Procyon. Now this is challenging because there are people that attempt to traffic me, and they have. I actually see some of the energies that they didn't like that I did that, because this is a release of being targeted individual type of timeline. And yesterday I managed to sleep after 48 hours. Nay, yes, after 28, after almost 48 hours of no sleep. So this one is something that people they got excited when I put the nutmeg. I don't know why. Yes. Vogue. But that's not going. Yeah. So I like that. I guess I'm not the only one in the room that likes that. Watchers, start targeting those who sent you, and you will get a drop. So this is so that is the story of today. Basically, the oil was made while the kidnapped people begin to return, and it was my mom that told me that they are now returning from the other room. So it's the day and hour of that, and basically the butter I made again. Lunar return release timeline of any targeted individuals type of scams and stuff like that. Very good energy. Moon trining Mars. Yes, Mars is on the ascendant. Yes, the ruler of the 10th house is in the 12th house, and its ruler is in the 11th, opposing Saturn and Neptune. But I did accentuate on the moon and in its Jupiter hour. So this is basically, yes, this is basically where it's at. It's a strong talisman. It's a powerful talisman because of the context. Because of the context, the lot of fortune actually squares Mars for those who are really sensitive to elections. So that's a consideration because the midheaven is ruled by Sun, and Sun is in the 12th house, with its ruler in a kind of separation point, juxtaposition point. But for the moon, very strong position of the moon in Cancer, This is a deacon that is close to Sirius. I didn't bring Sirius into the mix. And let's see if I want to do something with that. Okay. Ooh. Wait a second. This is with Regulus now. Should I do something with Sirius? I know what I'm gonna do. I'm going to bring Sirius into the mix. I'm not gonna call on Regulus because Regulus is in a really real weird position. Just Sirius, yes. And to make it even less likable, called it Sirius Talisman, which is the name of my channel, and invoking of Sirius. So that will have a continuum, certain continuum. Okay. Moon stuff. I did not use jasmine, although jasmine would be excellent to use. Geranium. Some folks would like to have like a blue lotus there. I have blue lotus in my other talismans. This one was more rose, and the oil with geranium that is a mother oil. Okay, that's just basically it's a mother oil. That's why when we do, for example, antifungal blends, we combine geranium with with other oils that are more antifungal and oils that create movement. And we have a lavender bottle. Let's do something with that. First of all, is the midheaven is Mercury ruled, so I'm going to do something with that. Oh, we still invoked Celine. This has a wait. This has a recycled energy. Composed, recycle, rejuvenate. But I'm going to bring that. I know what I'm going to do with that. It's actually recycling something that was originally used for vitamins. Okay. And for this one, I am going to do cold cases. This one is going to be for returned for the people that were long since in some sort of trajectory. And this is particularly this one has a very special intention and frequency, and it has to do with those that are missing for a very long time or kidnapped for a very long time, and release of political prisoners or security prisoners that are safe to release. Safe for the people, not for those who have enslavement of people agenda. And this is also where is my blue lotus? Come on. Damn. And I'll try to avoid the fact that people are praising Donald, Donald Trump right now. Um, um, yeah, but this is a type of energy that is meant to release the people from any type of captivity, both in a consciousness around beliefs or beliefs about care or children. Yeah, okay, it gets even more. Um, Here is the jasmine. And this is, of course, Luna. Selene still invoked the still Jupiter hour. Hail, fell jasmine. Vetiver, of course, that was with me. And it focuses on the thought patterns surrounding any type of classified programs to target individuals or to kidnap or to traffic, and releasing from those type of things, but also their funding. This is basically what's behind political prisoners, security prisoners that are not for the security of the people imprisoned, um, and I have some jojoba and olive oil with me. Some nutmeg because we can't without nutmeg, and it has a focus on the nervous system. So, and some rose and clove, of course. Let's just check in that we are good with the times. Yes, still have 4 minutes before it's Mars hour. So I'm going to let us speed up the process. Ylang ylang, because this is not full without ylang ylang. Where is the mint? This one needs mint. Just some mint, not to jump over my head with this. I'm not gonna try for the patchouli because this is going to end the time that I have to make this talisman, and I don't want to end up in the Mars hour. Oh yes, that's how I survived being in between two. So this is about housing for the kidnapped and so on. Um, Sirius Moon in Cancer, Jupiter, Procyon, and they even call on Andromeda. And I'm going to leave that intention there. By the way, as always, I have to sniff a minute before it's Mars hour. Mm-hmm. This is the energy. This is this is probably one of the most important things I've done in my life. Um, oh yes, if I get a drop of cocoa, no, I won't. I won't try. I'll get it. But this is amazing. This is amazing. I'll just let it. Oh my God! Yes, it's the kind of joy. Uh, Okay, joy of living, benevolence, abundance. I have. Yes, this is good. Mercury. 1 minute. 1 minute. Okay, that's it. Ah, it smells good. Hmm. Yes, they said it was crossing Lilith as I did that. Oh my god, this is good. Oh, so yeah, Mercury is Moon is leaving and trying to Mercury and in applying to trying to Mars. I love this one. Oh my god, this reminds me of Netherlands. I the oils that I used when I was, of course, my accent changes when I talk about it. When I was in Netherlands, um, yeah, that's that's definitely a good one. And I used entirely olive oil. This olive oil is a particular one that I bought. Um, is actually not more expensive than the usual oils, even less expensive. This entire bottle, a liter and a half. And this is an oil that was made by a Druzy woman in Daliat. I had a dream that somebody who was Arabic trying to get me to date him in Daliat El Carmel. I think everybody in the collective knew that I'm going to make this talisman today. And it was funny because now I've read like Daliat, Daliat, and I'm like, this place, Daliat El Carmel, I actually was there. It's next to Sophia. I had a friend who was relationship coach, and she and her husband rented apartment there before they bought their apartment in Haifa and renovated. So I stayed there. Really nice place. But I guess that this oil had a function. And then I tell him I'm not going to date him, and he's like, because I'm Arabic, because I'm this. I'm like, wait a second. So yeah, I don't know. That is just weird things happening. People try to hack people's dreams. Um, that was so funny. um, but this is, uh, yeah, really interesting. And this is exactly Sirius Dallas Moon, and so many nice things. So really good morning for talismans. Timeline of kidnapped people returning, um, and a lot of oils. And you see, when the ascendant crossed to the third decan of Scorpio, the oils was reminding me. What? Wait, one more. Okay. So Trump was flying above the place where they kidnapped the people. And by the way, Mars is ruling real estate. But for me, it's ninth house. And my mom is excited about now. Some of you might not know this. The I don't know even if Donald Trump knows this. A part of the kidnapped trafficking agenda had to do with something to do with Trumpstein. And I don't even know if Trump knows this. And this is my mom getting excited about Donald Trump. So, um, just I want to address this because I'm 41 years old, okay? And I make my own decision. But let's say I was a child and she wouldn't let me go as a child, but many people are thinking, oh, the child is going to be with those important people and so on and so forth. And what happens? What happened to Anneke Lucas? Because the lovely persona that we see, a lot of people have in those trajectories have dissociative due to torture. That means that, for example, Trump was tortured himself under those classified projects. You see, the talisman is already beginning to work under those classified projects, classified budget, and that would mean that probably since child he would be tortured. That's how it works in Europe, and basically would enjoy things that are completely evil. Um, and so basically they torture these children to be predator. And then they have all kinds of facets of their personality. And what we see is one type of personality. Now here's the thing, because I'm talking about Trump and he was bullied a lot, and people are like, Shirley, we don't. It's not even Hitler. It's not even Hitler. But basically, um, that is beyond evil, and yes, and that is basically what runs what used to run our politics and wealth consolidation. So I talked a lot about the need to change the rituals around wealth consolidation, and but this is such a situation, okay, because for many parents, they see something that looks like a benevolent person or a person that they like or a person that even represented something in the policy that they were seeking to represent, and they don't know what the whole story and the whole structure, and their children, sometimes their children, okay, and it plays on, that glorious, that regal, that being with important people or whatnot, and without ignoring that glory, because if we didn't have the satanic ritual abuse, it is glorious, okay. Let's just face that. Um, but what is done there is human sacrifice. What is done there is torture. What is done there is some of the testimonies were evil was a currency, and it is what it is, because this is the wealth consolidation was based on that, and its frequencies of is of the how should I say it? Even the lower astral perhaps would not be, because there is the dark and the light, and the protection of the dark. Probably the protection of the dark saved people like me as well. So, um, I'm honoring that, but also its frequencies that are on frequencies of the creation of basically torture, dissociative identity, sexual boundary violations, and the people. For example, I know one person that escaped, that he was supposed to be a real estate mogul, and he's also a talented musician and so on. It was so much so that they made a partner break up with him, and he needed to look for a house, because and this person was destined within the cult to be a real estate mogul, okay, so kind of like a Trump, but outside you have to okay. And then of course the person speaks about things that maybe psychologically they're not even supported while they're speaking, because the psychologist's job at this time would be to perpetuate trauma. And yes, at that time, and then I had to write in praise of the perpetrator. Basically, in that context, it was the perpetrator was also violated. And mind you, those are the child rape situations. To bridge the fact so that that person will not be tortured in hospital, which already was, and so that he will be able to receive donations for housing, because he was trained to be a real estate mogul, but they tried to keep him from having a home, and he became targeted individual when he escaped, basically, because he didn't want to rape kids. and do child sacrifice and stuff like that. So, um, or the adult kids, because the people that are trafficked there, even as adults, is basically those that kind of like if they worked on that since their childhood. Let's just put it that way. So yeah, that's an important point. Um, Probably pertaining also to the return of the kidnapped people, because it's not that they're returning, that then they have healing and they have this. No, they are basically dealing with a lot of things that targeted individuals, because there's desire that they would not remember. Maybe they were trafficked. Maybe they were even trafficked to public figures there, and um, and this is what if let's say there's a patient, and that was the issue with satanic ritual abuse survivors. Very likely it was why I was not receiving proper healing, and even my psychologist was basically fragmented. And just when he tried to bring me, the child, to the room, then he got fragmented and began to violate the child. And this means that he was mind controlled. Okay, he was mind controlled to do that, um, because they wanted to hurt the child. And by the way, before I knew everything, I woke up today with the notion that um, my Mars is such that um, it's a retrograde Mars ruling over Saturn and Pluto, so that are both retrograde in the ninth house. So it's this Mars that's compatible with even the programming of the children is compatible with their Mars, and so this is Mars that is more compatible to, let's say, kill the handlers and stuff like that. And this is meaning that even if somebody tries to traffic me or sexually boundary violate me, then I tend to be, I'm sorry, sexually violent towards them. I don't want to be like that. I want to set a boundary, but this is basically what my Mars is compatible for. And then I just realized that that even under the programming, because they try to alternate and so on and so forth, it would always be attacking those that attack or that do sexual boundary violation. I have Lilith in the second house, which is Lilith is sexual sovereignty. So this is a value, and it's ruled by Mars, and my Mars is 22 retrograde. So this can also tell us about the type of people that are that have more capacity to get out of those timelines, versus the type of people that maybe find it more challenging, or it's not natural for them to bring their Mars in that way. Um, and Also, I was thinking about Mark Detru, and he has Moon to my midheaven in Mula Nakshatra, which is basically where he would have, if he would not be assaulted, okay, tortured, uh, and to become torturer and so on, then he would have the psychological insight. He would be probably one of the best psychologists out there, because his moon in Mula Nakshatra will allow him to tap into both the issues around psychology, housing, and caregiving that are at the core of the changing universe. And that awareness, because, okay, just a snippet of being an astrologer. When I pull a chart, the energies begin a trajectory, and they affect the astrologer, okay? People that work with clients, they know that about working with clients. People that are screenwriters, they know that about their characters. People that are actors, they know that about their characters. And I've had the honor to be a little bit of all of that. And so basically, when I worked with, it was actually a picture, one of the pictures of that room. Then immediately I received the energy, and it was terrifying in a way that I will accentuate, because what I received at first was very loving energy, beautifully loving energy, and then I understood that this beautifully loving and caring energy was used to traffic people, and later they would be tortured and so on and so forth. And I was like, that's Belgique, the Belgian energy. That's what was done. It's the thread of Belgium. And because his house was there, I don't remember the city. um, and still Brussels is like central, you know. So in every such central place there would be, and and that kind of went with me, um, and so that was something that I kind of woke up with today as well. So I guess I knew I was going to do these particular talismans, as my soul knew maybe, and I did listen to Reiki yesterday and today, and I was able to sleep. Um, but this is also to show you how the difference of upbringing, and Detro would know it a lot because he would have the insight into how the upbringing, which is moon, and the housing um, serves as whether to make perpetrators or not. Um, and that is quite scary because probably when I was 6 years old, um, even younger, there were preparations or attempts to kidnap me, and it would either be the true case or something of that sort. I remember when the case came out in Belgium, so it was like there were children that were kidnapped into a house, and it looked like this psychopath person that kidnapped children, like this solitary offender. Um, and I know that one of my colleagues knows about these things. I don't know if you had to participate in such things or not. Um, but yes, but there was a time where he was like a bit pissed and kind of saying the solitary rapist, and and I didn't understand there like what was the, but it looked like he knew that it's not solitary rapist that operates there. Um, you're talking about the Pluto Scorpios. Um, so yes, it's not. Anyway, um, but that was. Um, yeah, that was part of the things that I woke up with today after I managed to sleep after a long time. I wasn't able to sleep. Um, and yes, those things. Those are the things that were there. And it's also, for people that recover. Falcon, if you're recovering from being targeted individual um, or ritual abuse, okay, that type of thing, then the very things that they use to try to make you offender um, or to try to make you this helpless victim were things that are that would be of power. So, example, Mark Detru, his moon, was used to have him as supposed caregiver of trafficked people, which is not exactly caregiving, but because he had the moon on Mula Nakshatra, he would know all the core issues of why people are becoming like what he was, but also what the upbringing of the high-profile people that would go there. Okay, um, and because that type of thing is basically it requires people to have clients basically, and they wouldn't have to pay a lot of money because it's a lot of risk and and there was even psychology or social psychology that try to pinpoint that the children that like to rape, not that are sadistic, they would be taken away. Yes, I think that this thing is that they made the children sadistic. Okay, so but with traumas from infanthood, and I think that rule would know about this. Um, birth, whoever's it's birth trauma that creates that, and it is by design. And now the person might think is the nature because it was in birth. It was either, if it was cloning, then they did something to the cells, okay, to the fetus, and if it was cloned in with body, then when the mother, okay, and that can create that because it's such helplessness that all it's like a helplessness even before the fetus is born. Um, Water of preconception, like in Placidus house division, I would have Lilith, not true Lilith, but Black Moon Lilith, in the 12th house, which is the water of preconception. And I was born natural birth, but I saw things like boy that is doing something to woman. And it can be even the soul of a boy who was actually doctor that was a bit sadistic. Like I would see the preconception traumas of the place that I was in, the womb. Um, okay. Anyway, have a lovely day. Kidnapped people are returning. I hope, yes, Trump has a nice flight above the Gaza. Yes, so